Welcome to Braemar TV. I'm Trevor Garlick. We're here at the Balmoral races. There's a few Braemar folk here running today and a few friends, and we're all trying to raise money for Sue Ryder, D-View Court Appeal. More on that later. But first, here's what's coming up in the rest of the programme.
Thank you for this as well.
Yeah.
Tell me you remember Robbie Burnett?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, he hit Mr. Addy, didn't he?
He did. He was getting 6 of the
He
belt.
nearly knocked him out, yes. And we were so happy.
It's been a concern for a number of years about the entrance to Braemar and the exit to Braemar. And what I'm referring to is the lack of some kind of visitor welcoming sign. We notice that up and down D-side, each village has got a welcome to that particular village, and there just appears that the Braemar lacks this kind of information. In the latest Buzzard, there was an article which highlighted this, which asked the designers in the village to put their pencils onto paper and to design what they thought was the appropriate welcoming sign to Braemar. To encourage people to do this, a reward or a prize of £100 was offered to the best entry. Now, the best entry was going to be chosen by the Community Council, which met this last week, but unfortunately the entries were so limited that they decided to just leave it in abeyance. And what we're doing now is to try and encourage people to once again think about what they're doing as far as designing some kind of entrance and exit sign to Braemar. It was hoped originally that this would be put in place for this summer, but the way things have developed, that is not going to be the case, and it's going to have to be next year before this comes into fruition. If you have a design and you put it on A3 paper, put it into an A3 envelope, put your name and telephone number along with it, and post it into Greg the chemist, who has kindly agreed to accept all entries. I wish you all the best, and I hope that the Community Council will have a difficult job choosing from hundreds of applicants the correct one, the right one for Braemar.
I'm Fergus, Fergus Woods, and over the past year and a half I've been volunteering for Braemar Care Initiative in the village with Astrid, and I've been going up pretty much as many Saturdays as I've been able to manage to her house and just helping with odd chores and stuff around the house, and walking the dog, cleaning up, and just it's been nice just to sit and have coffee and just chat to her.
And this was part of the scheme?
Yeah, it's part of the new Braemar Care, newish Braemar Care Initiative, and it's trying to help elderly people in secluded communities and give them a little bit of care.
Yeah, it's a very much community-based initiative. Yes. And it's part of the Duke of Edinburgh, I believe?
Well, I've been doing it for my Duke of Edinburgh because part of the Duke of Edinburgh is doing volunteering for it, because there's 3 parts, and I've been doing Braemar Care Initiative. You can do pretty much any volunteering, but that's what I've been doing.
Okay, and we're here at the Invercoll today, so I understand you've been given an award.
Yes, I have no clue what it's about, to be honest.
Well, about a year ago, Carol came to me and asked me if I would have a young person in to help me, and I thought it was a great idea. And then the next time a new Fergus came to my door, which was even greater, and it was just lovely having you.
Yes.
And you've been so kind and so helpful, and all the things I can't do, and even if you just make me a cup of coffee, it's lovely. So I have much pleasure in giving you this.
Well, thank you very much. It's been brilliant, really.
Well, that's been lovely. And not only that, I've got a lovely new friend, you see.
Now this is an Aberdeenshire Volunteer Award that has been presented to Fergus for his work in the community in volunteering to go up to Astrid, and we hope that through this other young people will be encouraged to come forward, young and not so young, to come forward and realise that it's not dreadfully hard work.
It's not at all, it's not hard work
and it is
whatsoever.
very rewarding for both the young person and the older person that they're visiting, and there's so much you can learn across that generation gap, and it's actually, I think, from what I hear from Fergus, it's been very enjoyable for him.
Yes.
So it's not a hardship, it's something that young people and not so young would enjoy doing. So we hope that more people will consider doing this, and great pleasure in awarding him this because he's been fantastic. His head will go through the door shortly.
Well done, well done.
Buses did such a great job. I mean, they used to bring our shopping, you know. You'd phone up Strachan's and with an order and they'd put it on the bus, and the bus driver would drop it off at the end of the Keelock Road. And our newspapers came by bus, and they didn't even stop with the newspapers, they just used to throw them out. You know, all sorts of things came. And of course there was a big parcel service, wasn't there, that carried on until maybe about 2000, I think.
And that was Strachan's shop was the depot?
Strachan shop was the depot for parcels.
I can remember the chap Hunton.
Yeah.
John Hunton.
John.
I remember he was swearing in class and they put soap in his mouth.
And we used to do that a lot.
Had to have two teachers holding them, like they do now, Jane.
I'm sure the school's just the same now, Jane.
and Jane. John was a big lad, but it took two of the teachers, I know Miss Kennedy was one of them, and to hold John while they sort of stuffed soap in his mouth.
Well, she wouldn't have been happy about that, because she was a nice teacher, Miss Kennedy.
Not on that day, she wasn't.
No, obviously not.
And of course, the milk.
Oh, yeah.
The wee
little bottles of milk.
Bottles of milk, and they used to bring the crates in, and we used to get our milk.
The barmen in the Five Family Inn recalled, they all knew exactly how old we were, so there was no chance of ever getting a drink before you were 18. No chance whatsoever.
And one of the barmen in there was Brian Swales.
Yeah. The Geordie, he was a Geordie, wasn't he?
He could stand behind the bar all night and tell you jokes and never repeat himself.
The Fife went through a period of having one fire after another. They had lots of fires, so much so that when a tourist stopped and asked Mike Hawley, who was the manager of Strachan's at the time, where's the Fife Arms Hotel? Instead of saying just round the corner, he said just follow the next fire engine. Just while we're on the post office, when the Raffins left Strachan's, Reg Raffin was the manager and he also was in charge of the fire service. When they left, they were selling off some stuff and I was going to buy Richard Raffin's 3-speed bicycle, which was quite a move up for me, and it was £6. So I went to the post office and asked if I could withdraw £6 from my post office account. No. Mrs. Porter said no. You have to know that your mother and father are okay with it. So I had to go home to my mother and father and go back to the post office, and then she wanted to know what sort of bike it was and how good was it, and I was sure it was worth £6. And eventually I got the money and I got the bike, but you'd have thought it was her money, it was in the post office.
See, that was the advantage and disadvantage of living in the village. Everybody knew everything about it, didn't they? They knew exactly what was allowed and what wasn't. Because there was 3 grocer shops in the village, Colley's,
Henry's and Strachan's.
And Strachan's.
Yeah.
And that was because that previous picture of how the village looked in the winter, nobody bothered clearing Colley's Brae, so that was where we sledged. There was no traffic on it at all, was there?
No, Miss Kennedy wasn't pleased.
No, Miss Kennedy wasn't. Miss Kennedy lived in...
Well, Michelle and Magali might not be pleased.
You might not be pleased either if our sledges were taking the slats off the fence. No, she got pretty annoyed about it, didn't she? Yeah, she was Daisy Bank.
Just behind where your mum is, if you look now even, there's a dip in where the window is.
Yeah.
There's a recess in the ground.
Yeah.
That's where we used to go into Colley's and get cinnamon sticks and then hide behind where the mother is, where your mum is, and smoke these cinnamon sticks.
Derek Littlejohn worked in Colley's shop.
Yeah.
Yes.
And my granddad used to say to me, can you do that? Can you rope a wee message for me to Colley's? I'll just give you a wee note. And I would set off with a note. And I'll just give you a paper bag. So if you just get that put into the paper bag. And if you put it in the tree at the back gate, there's a wee fork in the tree. And of course it was a gill of whiskey. And I mean, I must have been about 7 at the time. And I was sent off to get whiskey for my granddad.
I'm Robert Pern. I'm originally from the northeast of Scotland, and I'm back here, and we are in the beautiful Braemar golf course, and our very first opening day today, so we're very thankful that the snow has finally gone and the course is ready to play.
What is it that actually brings you to Braemar?
Well, it's a little bit of luck, I think. I wasn't planning to get here, but I came over. I've been living in Bali in Indonesia for 8 years, and we decided that my wife and I decided that we'd like to come over, return to Scotland, and bring our kids over here. So I came back to Scotland last November, and I just started hunting for work. And I'm very lucky in that my big sister, Debbie, is the general manager at the Deeside Golf Course in Aberdeen, and she got word that Braemar was looking for a steward, and so I duly applied. I have a very long background in hospitality, and yeah, I applied, I got the job, and here I am, and how lucky I am.
Excellent. So is there anything you're sort of hoping to do with the club now you're here?
Well, it's very much a learning curve for me. I'm very new to the whole world of golf, but I would say my main priority is just to really make a good success of the whole project. I hope that in the not too distant future, but in, next year, the year after, we can really start taking just the club up to the next level. In many aspects, service and the product we provide. Yes, and I just let's take it up to the next level. Is what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
And today's sort of first day.
Today is the very first day we're opening, and I was a wee bit nervous early this morning, but after the day so far, not so nervous.
Cameron Henderson, Fiona Rankin, Eloise Bala.
Okay, so you can gather that we've just finished the race, and everyone's a bit hot and sweaty, but no injuries. Everybody finished, and they did marvellous. We have also, as you know, been raising money and raising awareness for the DVU Court Sue Ryder appeal. And this is us helping to build an expansion of their neurological care centre at King Corth in Aberdeen. It's a really good cause, and we've got a lot of runners helping us today to build awareness. There's a whole load of other events going on through the year, but today was all about the run. I'm just going to ask a couple of the runners to tell you how they got on. So Gail, how'd you get on?
Not too bad, better than I expected, and I would encourage everybody to take part next year. It's a fantastic day here at Balmoral. It's beautiful
day. And Brian, how'd you do?
Well, I'm glad I finished, Trevor. That was the main target for the day. So yeah, very pleased.
Well done. Well done, everybody. I'm really glad I finished too, as you know. So that's us signing off from the Braemar and Balmoral races and for Sue Ryder. So talk to you next time.